Hi everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Super Fast Income. Today with me, Chloe Lin. Chloe is an international speaker and has been invited to travel around the world, including places like Japan, China, Hong Kong, Malaysia, Taiwan, Vietnam, and many other countries. She is also the president of Buffett Online School in Japan and has been featured in newspapers sharing her experience on how to invest safely as a female investor and how to achieve consistent results from the stock market. Over the years, she has trained thousands of students across the world to grow their wealth safely through simple investing strategies. She is also one of the fastest growing content creators on TikTok with more than 200,000 followers for her channel, Arigato Investor. Today, with Chloe, we are going to discuss the power of investing, when is the best time to start investing and how to do it safely, and how to grow and protect your wealth in the long run. So without further ado, welcome Chloe to the show.
Thank you so much, Christian, for inviting me. I think you are super amazing. I really love how your introduction is so comprehensive within such a short period of time. And thanks so much for having me on the show.
Let's start with a little bit of background. How did you become an investor?
Oh, wow. That was almost 10 years back when I was 2015, when I first graduated from university. At that time, I think the reason why triggered me to start investing was because I saw my dad being retrenched the same year I graduated from university. And that kind of, I think, put pressure on me that I know that, hey, I really don't want to repeat the same path as my dad. He has been working in the same organization for so long, but in the end, he's still not spared, right? And in fact, he was actually holding quite a high management position. And when he was retrenched, basically our household lose quite a significant sum of income. And that is also when I started to realize that if I don't learn investing since young, which my dad, he never did, right? Then when he lost that big sum of income, we kind of get into this very difficult situation for a period of time. So that was when I realized that, hey, I need to make sure I start to have different sources of income so that in case anything happens, which can happen, right, then I still have another source of income to give me and provide me for my family as well. Yeah.
I think this is a very interesting point. We can see even celebrities earning millions of pounds or dollars, wherever you are in the world, per month, sometimes even per day. And some of them, they just finish bankrupt or they don't have enough money to survive when they get older. So I think it doesn't matter where you are really, but anyone should learn investing.
Yeah, and that is more like money management at the same time. I think the case study that you just shared, all those celebrities, they have high earning power. However, if they don't know how to manage their assets wisely, then don't even talk about investing, right? I think at the end of the day, it's really about learning how to plan our finances well. We should always spend less than what we earn, right? Then at the end of the day, there will be certain amount of money that we can use wisely to grow it faster through investing.
I think this is a simple concept for everybody to grasp, but it's very difficult in reality. So how do you transition from this idea to a concrete plan that our listener can execute?
I think when it comes to money management, for me, I think I'm considered very blessed to have this frugal mindset since young. I think I was brought up by a very frugal grandma that she just keep on saving and saving and saving. And that's why I realized that since young, I also love to save. However, as I grow older, I realized that this mindset of saving, even though can give me certain amount of money, it cannot really grow further, right? Because we also know that with money putting inside the bank account, it's not going to grow. In fact, it will actually deplete due to inflation, right? The value of your money worth today will be worth a lot less 10 years down the road, right? So that was when I also start to realize where with my dad being retrenched, even though he has savings, right? But how many months or how many years can he spend on savings if he doesn't learn how to invest? So that's how I start to realize that I need to go and learn. So before I went into the stock market, I went to learn first. And of course, despite learning, you are still bound to make mistakes, but it's better to always get ourselves equipped first with certain knowledge. Then when we enter into the stock market, we are better prepared so that we can lose less money. I think losing money, it's definitely part and parcel of any investor's journey. It's okay to lose money. However, very importantly is you must be willing to be humble enough to receive that idea that, hey, it's okay to lose money. And at the same time, you must be humble enough to learn from your mistakes so that you can grow to become better over time.
So I guess you lost money at some point.
Definitely, yes.
And so can you share with us when you were just starting out and you lost money, and what brought you to keep forward, go back and keep investing?
At that time, I still remember back then when I first started investing, just like many other people out there, I want to get rich fast, right? So apart from just doing that simple, very, very grounded kind of investing, I also started doing many other things like trading, learning about options trading and all this, which is a highly leveraged tool. So when I don't really know those vehicles well enough and I just dabble into it for the hope that it can make me rich, which indeed it made me rich for a short time. And then after that, I lost back everything that I earned. And in fact, I even lost like 50% of my assets at that time, right? My investor portfolio. So that was when I realized that it's so dangerous trying to do something that you don't fully understand. So that's why my advice for investors, right, especially if you're beginners, don't be too greedy to want to make money fast, because money can come fast, but it can also lose it fast. Luck is not replicable, right? However, if you just fall back to something that is really basic, really grounded, unlike what people think investing is very difficult, actually investing can be very, very simple, right? However, it's not easy to do, because to do simple things, it requires a lot of discipline. And just like what you said, right, the discipline that even though you lose money, you'll be emotionally disciplined and say, hey, let me focus back to what truly works. So for example, as a beginner, I will always say that just buy into low-cost index fund that Warren Buffett, right, the greatest investor on earth, he always gives this advice, right? If you don't know what to do, you have no time, no passion into digging all those individual companies, just buy S&P 500, right? Because when you buy the S&P 500, literally you are buying into the total market, like literally like top 500 companies in the US, Microsoft, Apple, Amazon are all inside. So you immediately buy into all these great companies with just S&P 500. And over time, historically, it has given investors about 10% return every single year. Now, 10% return doesn't sound like a lot. However, if you give it time, these 10% will compound and compound. And that's how you really can start to make your first pot of gold very safely from the stock market.
So when do you think is the best time for people to invest?
The best time to start is definitely yesterday. I always wish I started investing earlier, right? Even though I don't consider myself to be young. At that time, I was already 25. However, I always admire those people who started when they are in their 18-year-old, right? Then once they have the legal age, some of the parents, they are very savvy. They actually encourage their kid to start investing as early as possible. And when I went to Berkshire AGM, Warren Buffett's company, right? Every year they organize this shareholder meeting. I saw some of the kids, like literally they are like 13 years old, and under the influence of their parents, they also started investing. So I felt that really, because investing is a long game, that you know what you are planning to invest is not just 1 year or 2 years. It's not even just 10 years. Ideally, your investing horizon, the longer the better, 20 years, 30 years, that's how you compound. And that's why the earlier you start, the better. Now, having said that, many people will always have this misconception that, in order to invest, I need to have a lot of money. And I think it's not true, right? If you think about the kid, kids doesn't have a lot of money. Maximum they have is some pocket money from the parents, right? However, they can still start because right now with brokerage account being a very, very popular amount, there are so many different brokerages that you can use. Some brokerages even support fractional share, right? What does that mean is you don't need to buy one single share. For example, let's talk about S&P 500, which is about $400-$500 range. If you don't have $400-$500, well, do you have maybe $50? Can you buy a fractional share of the one share of S&P? Instead of buying one share, you can buy 0.1 share, right? And that 0.1 is about $50. If you have $50, well, you can start as well. So it's really never about how much money that you have, but how disciplined are you to keep on going this journey every single month. Set aside $50, $100, it doesn't matter, and just keep on dollar cost averaging into buying an index fund like S&P 500, and over time you will see your wealth compound.
If you were to start today, you got excited and inspired about this conversation and you want to learn more about investing, where would you start?
Where will I start? I will always try to start with certain books. I think there are many books out there that I always admire Warren Buffett. So I read different books about people write about Warren Buffett, how he invests. Or alternatively, sometimes if you think investment books are a little bit too dry, like really hardcore investing books like Warren Buffett's method, if it's too dry for you, well, you can start with something that it's simpler to read. So one of my favorite investing book, I have it over here, right? It's by William Green. This is Richer, Wiser, Happier. This is one of my favorite investing book because it's not just about investing, but it's also about life. So I think it's like reading a storybook about all those great investors out there. What do they do? What are their habits? What are their values? So you can start to cultivate it and to become a better investor. And over time, you can read more books. I constantly have a lot of books about Warren Buffett and all this. So I think books are great resources. And in the meanwhile, there are also other learning material online. For example, I have my own YouTube channel. I also have my own free classes, right? Just to teach people about investing. So since there's so many resources out there, be resourceful enough to go and learn first and see for yourself. Does it speak to you, right? Is it something that you want to consider going further? If it does, then make sure to double down in this process.
As you said, you stick with your plan and one thing and you don't get distracted. Otherwise, it could be quite a dangerous journey.
Exactly. I think what you say is very true. And it really aligns with what one of the greatest investors on earth, Charlie Munger, he passed away, right, last year. He said, right, take one simple idea and take it seriously, right? And that's how he becomes so successful as an investor as well and as a person. So I think as a beginner, oftentimes we love to try out many things, right? Which I also encourage people to try out, right? If you are interested to learn about crypto, go and try. Trading, go and try. Investing, go and try. However, at the end of the day, you also need to be more self-aware. At the end of the day, what truly is suitable for you? Because after me going through the entire about 10 years of trial and error, I realized that trading is not for me, right? Because I don't have that. Firstly, I don't like to stare at the chart. Right? I don't like to look at the candlestick pattern. And I like to sleep at night. I stay in Singapore, so the US market opens during nighttime. And I don't like to stay throughout the night just to look at the market. So for me, I really like it to be passive. I like it to be hands-off, right? I only see my portfolio once a month, right? I only enter certain investment trades once a month. To me, that is suitable for me, right? However, if you are somebody who are very active, you don't mind looking at the chart every day, maybe trading is for you. So at the end of the day, you really need to understand more about yourself. And because of your temperament is different instrument will be suitable for you. So go and find that. And once you find that suitable investment vehicle or strategy, then really take it seriously, right? Because that simple idea can really make you a lot of money over time.
That's a great advice. When was the time, if you remember, that you realized, I'm going to be an investor when I grow up? Have you had this Bob moment, this realization?
I think I didn't have that when I was young because my parents never taught me anything about investing. I think all their life, my dad was just working very hard and he's a saver. He just put the money in a bank. For my mom, she's kind of the opposite. She's a spender. She likes to spend the money that my dad earns. So to me, like, I was just an observer. It just never occurred to me that I would want to invest because none of them invest. So I think it was actually through my friend's influence at that time that when I share with him my situation that, oh, my parents, my dad now he got retrenched. Now my mom is also, she's not working. What should I do, right? And through my friend, he said, hey, why not you should consider learning about investing, right? And if you are the only one in the family, then so be it. At least you can give an alternative path to what your family is doing. So I think that was a very good advice, and that's how I started the journey. Yeah.
So you've been investing for 10 years now.
Yes.
And I think now your portfolio is providing for everything in your life, like your lifestyle, your day-to-day cost and everything like that. And this gives you more opportunity to explore and to do things. I know you're very active, especially on TikTok. You just blow up on your channel. We will talk about this in a minute. So how do you spend your days now? And how much time did it take you to look after your portfolio?
So I think I gave some clue just now that I don't like to look at my portfolio because the less that you do, the better it is actually for the performance. So for myself, I only look at my portfolio once a month. Other time, I'm basically just doing what I like. So in the morning when I wake up, I always like to read because I felt that by reading different kind of book, be it from investing to just mindset books or different kind of genre, it calmed me down as an investor. And I think that calmness, it's very, very important because we also know that stock market is very noisy, right? And you are bound to definitely encounter news, right? And news will always give you negativity to want to sway you from maybe wanting to sell away your stocks and whatsoever. So that's why I think in the morning when I wake up, I will always read certain books, mostly reading books about Buffett, just to calm myself down, hold myself grounded. And then after that, I will basically like to do whatever things I like to do. I run my own business. I like to do content creation. So the rest of the day, while doing what I love to do, other times I will always have a very balanced life in terms of I want to make sure I take care of myself. So I will go yoga, I will go swimming, I will go jogging and spend quality time with my family as well. I wouldn't consider it to be an exciting life, although I think my excitement comes from traveling. So whenever I want to travel, I will go travel. So in fact, I am planning to go for a 1-month holiday with my parents, go back to China and to explore different parts of China because we haven't gone back for quite some time. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that trip as well next month.
So how does your ecosystem look like now that you have a business one side and you have the investment the other side? How these two work together?
So I always feel that at my age, I am still not looking at like getting passive income from my investing. So I actually don't draw any money from my investment portfolio. I actually want to grow it further so that eventually when I'm 50 or 60s, then I can really enjoy the fruits that I've been reaping for like sowing for so long, right? So what I do right now is as a content creator, I love to work with different brands and then brands actually give me some income as well. And at the same time, my method, I think, is generally simple. So I teach beginners, especially, how to manage their money wisely, how to invest, even as a complete beginner, to get decent and safe return from the stock market, right? Using stocks plus options. So when I coach people, I also get some income from there. So I enjoy doing that because that also takes that stress off me, knowing that, hey, I don't need to touch my portfolio, right? Because that is the best. When you don't touch your portfolio, when you do not need that money, from the stock market, then you have the long-term horizon to really let it run, right? And at the same time, I have some other sources of income that come in from content creation, from running my business. And I basically use that to fund some of my expenses. And the rest, whatever things I have, I continue to invest in the stock market to let it compound even faster. Yeah.
And just to give a perspective to our listeners, because obviously you're very open on social media, so you're open to speak about this. Your portfolio is over $1 million at the moment, right?
Yes,
so
that's
it's
right.
not like for people thinking like, yeah, she has some spare money in their account that she doesn't need. That's not the case. It's the philosophy that really is making an impact. That is, the more you can put into the investing, the better it is.
Yeah. So I think a lot of people have like certain ideas that, like if you have more than $1 million, why do you still do what you do? You should totally be just completely, like go off somewhere, go to the beach and do nothing. Well, technically, yes, we can do that. But I would think that life is so boring if you just sit at the beach whole day, right? Then why not make use of your skill set, right? We are still so young. There's so many things that we can explore in our life. Why not use social media to your advantage and really just see what kind of possibilities can it bring you? I only started TikTok about 2 years ago. I never expect my channel to blow up. But because of that, it also unlocked additional collaboration with brands, additional opportunities that I never expect to happen in my life. And I'm really grateful for that. And that's why I also realized that I really love it. And why not keep on doing that?
And I think it's one of the biggest challenge now, because everybody likes to consume everything instantly. And so there is nothing left at the end of the month, sometimes even before. And they spend even money they don't even have before they even get it. So it's a completely rewire the brain and think in terms of investing.
Yeah. So that's why the concept of delayed gratification is really important, that that I know it's tempting to want to spend, to want to buy certain things that you want. I think it's always good to reward ourselves, right? However, you want to make sure you do it with a plan, right? You don't want to jeopardize your finances because of certain things you want to buy. You want to make sure you set aside certain amount to save for your own expenses, certain amount to invest, and certain amount to enjoy. And that amount come from enjoyment account. So there's different money jar. T. Harv Eker talk about it. So do set aside different jars so that for different purposes. And some amount should be for education as well.
Is this the structure you use?
Yes, I do. I use it.
It's the same I use. I'm trying to teach to my daughter. It's quite challenging for children, but I think it is, the earliest you adapt a system, any kind of system, better you are in life, especially if you do content creation. There are when I open Amazon, it's just, oh dear, it's just buy me. How do you manage that?
I think I will also have certain moments like that. I want to buy certain things. However, to me, I will always ask myself, do I really need it? If I really need it, I remember there's a pair of sunglasses that I wanted to buy at that time. And I always ask myself, do I really need another pair of sunglasses? I actually already have 2 pairs at home, right? So even though that sunglasses is very nice, I chose not to buy it on the spot. And I think this could be one of good tests for yourself, right? Like, let's say you walk out of the shop and you delay your gratification instead of buying it on that day. You delay for just that 1 week. And if 1 week later, you still feel like, oh, I really need to get this, then I think as long as it's within your budget, you can go and get it, right? So then that pair of sunglasses I mentioned, I saw it actually 1 year ago. I didn't buy it. However, even until today, I actually think about it occasionally. And as I look at my wardrobe, I dropped my sunglasses recently during my US trip. So I was thinking, okay, time for me to buy that pair of sunglasses.
Are you sure it was an accident?
Maybe I accidentally switch off. Yes. Yeah, so delayed gratification. And for me, I am not so much of I think materials bring you pleasure, but only for a short while. What truly will give you more pleasure and memory is actually experience. So I would rather actually spend more money traveling, because that memories created is just, it lasts with you for life, right? But material, you can get it for a while. Like, for example, you're happy right now, but maybe 2 days later, you're thinking that, okay, I'm just used to it. I want to get another thing, right? Then it's never ending, right? So why do that to yourself? Why not really spend money on something that truly will create impact to you as a person, certain memories, friend, your family, go travel with them, treat them, buy them a meal. And I think that is more valuable. Yeah.
I love that. Yeah. Do you think recently more people are getting interested in investing, especially younger generation compared to the past, and why?
I think so, because in the past, I still remember back in my university days, I never thought about investing, right? However, right now, as I was just looking around, my sister, right? She is 9 years younger than me, and I still remember I actually taught them investing when before they turn 20s. And in fact, they are a group of friends. They actually come and approach me and say, "Hey, Chloe, are you able to teach us investing?" And I was like, wow, of course. I'm so happy to teach you guys. Like, I really wish I started investing like your age at that time before you turn 20. So I feel that more and more youngsters right now, they are more savvy towards investing. Firstly, it's also because information is so readily available. And then secondly, I think brokerage platform become so user-friendly. And the fees are so cheap, and that's why that also encourage more youngsters to start the whole journey. Now, having said that, I think that is advantage, right? The disadvantage is, well, there's so many investment vehicles right now, right? And of course, there are other vehicles that can go very, very fast, but it can also drop very fast as well. So I think for youngsters, be aware of what you're investing in. Go and understand first. Don't try to gamble away thinking that, oh, well, I think this, I don't know, maybe this thing can help me to make 100x faster. I should buy this. But instead, even though you want to have certain funds just to experiment, you should also have certain funds for long-term investing. Like what, for example, I've been doing, right? Because certain things are just just comes and go, right? But there are certain things like stocks, good companies over time they last. Then you buy into them. That's how your wealth also has a long-lasting impact. And that's how eventually when you grow older, 40s, 50s, you can retire so much earlier because you stick to what truly works.
What is the composition of your portfolio at the moment?
I mainly invest in stocks. So right now, I have about 70% invested, right? And 30% out of 30%, about 15% in property, 15% in cash. And the rest of the 70% are actually all in the US stock market, majority of it. I do have certain amount of money inside Chinese stocks. However, as you guys know, Chinese stocks are not doing very well. So to me, that is once again, it's a long-term game that I am playing in that. I believe that even 10 years down the road, I believe China will be way more prosperous than it is today. So the whole idea of buying into the stock market is you believe that the economy will continue to improve, more companies will become more profitable, and that's how you will be rewarded as a shareholder because the company make more money. So the same logic applies to the US, apply to different parts of the world. So still, why do I majority of my assets put into the US market? It's also because Buffett, right, my long-term mentor and hero, right, that I look up to, he said, never bet against America. And it's true, right, because all those great businesses in the US, they don't just make money in the US. It's globalized, right? So literally you have the whole world fueling all these companies to grow, to become more profitable. So when you buy into those companies, that's how your money will appreciate, your wealth will appreciate over time.
Mm-hmm. What do you think is the end game for you of investing?
My end game. Wow, that's a very good question. I've never really thought about my end game. I think it's more like I'm just trying to enjoy the process of cultivating my patience as an investor, having that long-term mindset, and at the same time taming my own temperament. Because just like what Buffett said, investing, the most important thing, and in fact the most difficult thing, is also about temperament. Right? It's not about the IQ, right? Because you can have a lot of high IQ, but if you keep on doing a lot of emotional things, you will still end up ruining your portfolio. So I'm trying to enjoy the whole journey of becoming a better person, becoming a more patient investor. And that's how the wealth will continue to catch up because I become better.
That's fantastic. I like how your idea, like everything you said, it wasn't about actually making more money, but was actually a personal journey.
Yes, yes, it is. It is.
So maybe that's why you are very successful.
I'm still on my way. I don't consider myself to be very successful. There are so many people better than me. What I'm sharing is what works for me. And most importantly is go and find out what truly works for yourself, for our listeners as well. Yeah.
So on TikTok, your account is blowing up. I mean, you have more than 200,000 followers, people learning about investing and following your journey. What do you think is the differentiator with the other creators that got all this traction? Why do people like following you or your journey or what you say?
I think firstly, when it comes to content creation, there is no magic formula. A lot of times I actually model after what is already working. Like, for example, there are many successful creators on TikTok, and some of them also talk about personal finance, talk about investing as well. So I look at exactly what are their content, and if it's proven to be working, that means people like their content, it's viral, well, I will produce similar content. Of course, inside those similarity, I will add some of my own twists because I specialize in stocks and options, right? So I will include all those educational concepts inside those videos. And maybe that's why people felt that, oh, it's interesting, but at the same time, slightly different because they can learn something that other creators don't talk about. Yeah. But at the end of the day, if you ask me, I really don't think that my video is the most creative because there are so many better videos out there. But I think authenticity, at the same time, willing to model, willing to learn from what other people are doing and implement onto your own channel really help to fuel my growth. Yeah.
How long have you been learning about content creation?
I actually started my first channel on YouTube, I think back in 2016. And it was completely didn't do well at all. I remember at that time I was just talking about travel, talking about food. My subscribers didn't grow at all. So it was only until I started to really focus and niche down to investing. And about 2 years ago, I went to attend a NAS Daily conference in Dubai. And that was when I also felt that this is one of the best events for content creator because so many great YouTubers, so many great like content creators are all gathering there. And one of the creators that I saw at that time, her name is Arigato. I'm pretty sure some of you guys probably know her, right? Because she is the lawyer who got so famous on TikTok. And during that event, she also shared with us exactly what is her secret. Like she did role play and what is certain formula that she applied to her role play skit. And after I learned from her, I was like, oh, why not? I just apply exactly what I learned. And that's how I started to grow. So my TikTok account only started about 2 years plus ago. And because I really thank Erica, I think her tips are fantastic. And I actually model quite a lot of content after her as well. And that's how I managed to grow faster.
That's very, very interesting. Because it just shows, again, like your mindset, your attitude is like, so I learned something, now I apply, now I improve it, and I keep going, and I keep going, and I keep going. So that's amazing. How can our listeners keep following your journey or learn more about what you do and maybe learn with you investing. Why not?
So for me, I have my own channels. You guys can go and follow my Arigato Investor in different social media platforms. My most active platform is definitely TikTok and YouTube. So the reason why these two are slightly different is because one focuses on short form on TikTok and one is long form content on YouTube channel. So on my YouTube channel, I actually share a lot more in detail about my investment thought process, as well as some of the interviews that I do with famous investors like Adam Khoo. Recently, I interviewed a best-selling author in Japan. His name is Ken Honda, about happy money. So that's all those money mindset that you can get to learn as well from my channel. And of course, in the meanwhile, for me, I run my own free investing 2-hour class, right? And from there, you can get to learn more about what I do, right? The basic concept of the key fundamentals about my investment. And of course, I have my own paid coaching program as well for those who really want to continue this journey together with me. Yeah. So I think all the links, Christian will be putting it inside the.
Yes, absolutely. Chloe, thank you so much. It's been amazing. So much to think and to rewatch. Also, I have to rewatch this episode because there are so many interesting action that I want to take. And something that I learned is consistency, how important it is, and how really rethink about investing, not just as growing or protecting your wealth, but seriously as a vehicle to become a better person. So
yes.
Thank you so much for sharing this with us. I'll talk to you soon.
Thank you so much, Christian.
Take care.
Thank you, everybody.
Bye.